Tiffany is with us in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I was calling because I wanted to get your advice. We took financial peace a couple years ago, but we also have a lot of burdens as far as debt. So we have about 300 and something thousand of student loans.
Good Lord. Whoa, stop. 300,000 in student loans?
Yes.
Who's the doctor or lawyer?
Nobody's a doctor or lawyer, just a lot of expensive schools.
What are your degrees in, honey?
Business and leadership.
Oh, my Lord. What is your household income?
$140,000.
Well, that's good news. Oh, my goodness. Overpaid for some degrees. Okay. Ouch. 300,000 in student loans, and what else?
About 300,000 in the house.
Uh-huh.
And about 60 between medical and cars and things like that.
What do you owe on the cars?
Like 15 on one, about 11 on another.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you've got a very, very tight budget. You got a lot of house, and you got a lot of cars, and you are deeply in student loan debt. So one of two things is going to occur. You're going to sell cars and houses and move down into just some junky cars and into a little rental property, and you're going to use the 140 to get rid of the student loan debt, or you're going to keep the house and the cars, and you're going to limp out of this, and it's going to take you a lot longer.
So when I do the math, it takes like 10 years to even sort of get it close. Now, we also do qualify for a loan forgiveness. So
why do you qualify? You mean after 10
because
years?
We work for a nonprofit, yeah.
After 10 years?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't want to wait 10 years to be out of debt. No, I mean, you make 140, okay? You've got 300 plus, you said another 60, so you're 360,000. I mean, if we put 60,000 a year on it, it's done in 6 years. If we put 80 on it, it's done in 4.5. And that means you ought to be able to do that. You're just living on nothing. But I mean, again, if I were in your shoes, I'm going to move way down in house. I'm going to sell my house, and I'm probably going to sell the $15,000 car, and maybe the 11, and just get me a couple junkers, and because I'd want out of this mess, and I wouldn't want to wait 6 years. And those cars in that house are going to delay. It's going to add 2 years at least to this program, maybe 3, maybe 3, and you guys have bought everything in sight. And, ouch, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you're facing all this. But, I mean, you can do it either way. It's whatever you want to do. But you're right. You're looking at 6 to 8 years if you stay in the house, and you're probably looking at a really tough 3.5 or 4 if you don't stay in the house. What's the trajectory of your career look like income-wise? Are you seeing incomes increase pretty dramatically or just slightly?
They increase as you change jobs, like for different companies. So typically, yeah, like about another 20,000 probably would come in the next promotion or something like that. Okay.
All right. So that's a pretty decent push. And so, if we project out 3 years, maybe we're not dealing with 140, maybe we're dealing with 180 or 190 at that point on income. And see, that starts to change the equation too.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have really, I mean, you're broke. You're desperately broke. And you're going to have to start making some dramatic moves in cutting lifestyle and some dramatic moves in living on the cheap to clean this mess up. And, that's what you've got to do there. So thanks for the call. I wish I had better answers for you, but those numbers are just horrendous. Sorry you're facing that. One of the things you should get from this show, other than entertainment value, is you should be learning something. And it should occur to you to think to yourself, how in the crap do people go $300,000 in debt to get a couple of business degrees? What has to be broken in the process they were using in order to let yourself do that? Okay? Well, let me tell you a couple things that are broken, potentially. I don't know what happened exactly there, But I'll tell you what runs through my mind when I hear those kinds of numbers for a situation like that. Number one, people think getting a degree from a certain school is going to more likely ensure their success. There is no data, none, anywhere that indicates that prestige schools create a higher success probability. That's just straight up BS. It's straight up BS. As a matter of fact, more CEOs of Fortune 500 companies graduated from public universities than from prestige universities. Wall Street Journal did a study about 2 years ago and published it, made everybody mad in that world. Now, I don't mind you going to a prestige school, but don't go $300,000 in debt to get 2 business degrees. That's stupid. Okay? And because it doesn't ROI. It just simply doesn't ROI. For God's sakes, it's a business degree. You ought to think about this, you know? And so I don't mind you going to Wharton. I don't mind you going to Harvard. I don't mind you going to Yale or Vanderbilt. I don't mind you going to those things as long as you can ride check and go, or they're paying for it and it's a free ride. But this idea you're going to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because of where you went to school and that's going to ROI, there's no data to support your stupid set of assumptions there. None whatsoever. No research at all. You cannot find it on the planet. Now, there's some old boys sitting around, you know, sipping on something at the country club that'll tell you otherwise, but they got nothing to support it, I'll just tell you. And the second thing that happens there is, if you come from a background, if your family is not an education-oriented family and you're the first of your family to go get an education, sometimes you believe the lie that says, just get an education. It's worth it. Whatever you do, you got to break the family chains. You got to break the cycle. You got to do whatever. And whatever it takes, you go get that education. And it'll, you know, the only shot you got to get about not being like the rest of us, about getting out of the family tree, the only shot you got to breaking the curse on the family is education. It's the only shot. Education is the answer to everything. Well, it's not. Education's important. Knowledge is important. But education is not a magic pill.